Welcome to chapter 55 of Memoirs of a Blue Guy. Cause if I was green, I would die. If I was green, I would die. That was so shit. Actually, and it should be if I was white, I would die if I was white. Actually, you wouldn't die if you were white because you'd probably be able to afford food. You'd probably be affluent enough to afford basic amenities and thus would survive. So, yep. And while I don't get that song, that Eiffel 65 song, if you didn't get what I was referencing there's a song from the 90s like, I'm blue, Aberdeen. I used to think it said yabba dee, yabba die, but it actually says if I was green, I would die. Blew my fucking mind. Actually, you know what? I'm going to Google the lyrics just in case I'm wrong. Eiffel 65 Blue. Is that what the song's called? Blue? It just came up with the film clip. I don't want to watch the film clip. Actually, what do these guys look like? No, wait, I need to find the lyrics first. So... oh, it is. It's I'm blue, dabba dee, dabba die. I swear it was I'm blue, if I was green, I would die. All right, well, disregard everything I've said so far this podcast, and maybe we should just start again. Actually, you know what? I'll watch the film clip because now I want to see what these guys look like. Like, you just know they're going to look like sex pests. I'm clicking on it now. Yep, sex pests, all of them, the whole lot. Okay, so there's three guys. This is the song, by the way. Okay, if you haven't heard it. So this is the song I was referencing. I thought it said, I'm blue, if I was green, I would die. Apparently it just says, yabba dee dabba die. And the three guys in this band, if you could even call them that, one of them looks like ex-footballer playing for Kangaroos, Drew Petrie. The other one looks like if Shannon Knoll was a Backstreet Boy. He's got like a little goatee, but he also has like Warnie's haircut. And the other guy just looks like a Mexican drug lord. He looks like a bad guy in every single American film ever. He's bald and has a creepy Mexican mustache. And they're all wearing blue, and the lead guy's wearing his own merch. So that pretty much sums up Eiffel 65 as a band. Holy shit, I can't believe I've just given this song 2 minutes of promo in my podcast. Because it's a shit song. You know what's funny about all those songs? There's like that category of song where it's like it's intentionally shit and catchy and people like it. It's like the hamster dance, like dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da. Like those songs are shit. And I'm a gummy bear. I'm a gummy bear. You know, so why are those songs even made? Like, no one actually puts it on unironically and goes, fuck, here's a gummy bear. This is hot shit. This song is above a 7. No one says that. No, because when there's music like Stairway to Heaven and masterpieces like Bohemian Rhapsody and the Beatles, like Let It Be, Hey Jude, no one flicks on, oh, I'm a gummy bear and goes, fucking just as good. Yep, this is... I don't know why I'm talking about this. Why did I bring this up? Oh, because I said if I was green, I would die at the start. This all started from one of the shittest jokes I've ever even thought of. So let's just move on. How are we going, guys? I hope I just educated you about 90s electronic mainstream techno, also referred to as Europop. I'm reading right now because I'm still got it open on my computer. I'm just reading the top comment and it's proven me wrong. The top comment on Eiffel 65's I'm blue, dabba dee, dabba die is I like this song unironically and it has heaps of likes, which means I stand corrected. There is heaps of people who suck this much and genuinely listen to it. Okay, here's the related songs. This is exactly why you should not like this song unironically. Like, if you like this song ironically, it's, yeah, good on you. Because the recommended songs at the site on YouTube are Darude Sandstorm, which is a meme, All Star, which is another meme, Owl City by, Fireflies by Owl City, which sucks, The Crazy Frog, which is another meme, and the Bloodhound Gang, and Sean Kingston's Beautiful Girls. So therefore, if you like this song unironically, you suck and you don't deserve to have an opinion on anything. You shouldn't be allowed to have a YouTube account, let alone be able to vote, because you like Eiffel 65. And therefore, your opinions on everything else are null and void. So please, erase yourself from human existence so we can all progress as a society. So that is just to everyone who likes that song unironically. And I bet you I'm going to get emails during the week like, I like that song, shut up. You're wrong. You're just incorrect. I'm sorry. I know music is subjective, and you should be allowed to have an opinion, except for that song. That song is only funny to sing, ironically, like I did at the start. Okay, now let's move on because I have so much better shit to talk about. So as you would have seen during the week, somehow, and just judging off that last 5 minutes of conversation, I don't know how this happened, but me and my good mate Lewis Spears got a national radio show. Now, thank God, I really hope my bosses at the radio station don't listen to this, because they'll be like, oh, you're not fit to speak to people in Brisbane because you have way too strong opinions on Eiffel 65, which is fair enough. So I really hope they don't listen to this. But you know what? This gold's just for you guys. You guys are welcome, okay? So see, the radio doesn't get this what is this? This trash. So yeah, that was super cool. I'm like super excited. So as you guys all know, I think I've talked about this before, radio is like my dream. Like, it's literally been my dream since I was, I don't know, when did I first hear Hamish and Andy? Like grade 5 maybe? I don't think it was my proper dream until maybe like year 11 or 12, but like, it was definitely something that I always thought about, and in a way, like, oh, wouldn't it be so cool if you could do radio for a living? And I was like, that would be the easiest job ever. Turns out, I have a lot of respect for people who do, you know what I mean? Like, I think even in the past, I was like, oh, like Hamish and Andy, like, they got the best jobs in the world, which they do, by the way, like, hands down. What they do is incredible, and I'm like probably their biggest fan, but which is super weird now because I work with them, but I'll get to that in a sec. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I've always wanted to do radio, and that's like seriously cool. And originally, I think I started stand-up comedy as like an avenue into radio, and then I didn't realize how much I'd enjoy doing stand-up, and now will never stop stand-up because I love it too much, and being on stage is the most fun. And I also think radio is so much fun because I don't know if you guys know, but I used to do community radio before I started all this online shit. Me and a mate used to do SYN at RMIT in Melbourne, and it was like youth community radio on like 89.9 FM or some shit. And yeah, we did like 10 weeks of a show. I did it for about 6 months. We used to do graveyard shifts. We used to come in at like 2 and do till 6 in the morning, and it was the best fun ever. So I've always loved radio, and I don't think many people know that. So even getting this opportunity, it still doesn't even seem real to me. It still feels like I'm living in a fucking dream or something, like, just because I feel like I'm going to wake up one day and I'm like going to be like, oh, you don't have a radio show, you dickhead. Like, why would you talk about Eiffel 65 for 5 minutes on your podcast? So, you know what I mean? It feels surreal. And to be honest, I probably couldn't have got this opportunity without all you guys. And, and I think Lewis feels the same. Without the having an active fan base who supports and always gets around our shit and stuff like that. Like, for example, well, we weren't actually trying to get a radio show at the time, but when we did the live bird watching podcast, it was just after that everything kind of started happening, and we hadn't even thought about it, but little did we know that people like Hamish Blake and Jack Post and stuff were monitoring what we were doing just through Instagram and all our social medias and stuff. And when I think they saw us do a live thing and you guys all came out of your houses to look for a fucking bird, they were all like, holy shit, I think these guys have something. And I think people started talking a bit in the industry about us. And so really, if it wasn't for you guys, this show wouldn't have happened. So I think that was all the beginning of it. So I'll tell you the origin story, because a few people have been asking me on Snapchat, and I got a couple of emails during the week saying, hey man, it would be really cool if you filled us in on how the radio show came about. So this is what I'm going to do. It may not be funny. There's a few funny stories in here, but I just think it's interesting. I know if I was listening to this, I'd probably be interested, because I don't know if you guys can hear this, but an ice cream truck is about to come past my house, and it's like 20 degrees. I'm wearing a jumper and trackies inside. Well, I'm checking the weather now. Shut up! Can you guys hear that? If you guys can't, then I just sound like a maniac. It's 17 degrees and cloudy. What? No one wants an ice cream. Should I go outside? If I go outside, the microphone will plug out. Anyway, sorry. An ice cream truck just came past, and it made me angry. It's not summer yet! Fucking hell. What was I talking about? Okay, how we got the radio show. Again, so easily distracted. So it all came about where Lewis and I had talked about it briefly. It was never even like really an option for us, but like obviously we had like fantasized like, oh, wouldn't it be so cool if we had a radio show and stuff like that. And then oh my god, it's coming past again. Shut up. Okay, it's just driven past again. Did it turn around? Like, like, oh, maybe if I do another lap of the street, someone might want an ice cream. No one wanted an ice cream the first time. Don't drive back down my street. God. Anyway, imagine riding up, being a 40-year-old guy. Like, what do you do for a living? I drive around an ice cream truck in September. It's like, oh, so you're bankrupt. Yeah, pretty much. I'm really struggling right now. Dude, sell other shit in winter. Like, sell me a hot chocolate or something. An ice cream. Piss off. Anyway, what was I talking about? Okay, so this is how the radio show came about. God, I'm so easily distracted. I don't know how I got this job. So, it all happened about the time. I think it was a few weeks before I went to Fiji. So, it would have been maybe late July it all started happening, which was, I don't know when the live podcast was. I think it was about June. So, it happened just after that. And so, I knew Jack Post, who is Cackling Jack, who you may know of Hamish and Andy's show. He's like the guy who panels for them and pushes the button, and he helps produce their show. I knew him through community radio when I did it at Sin. We did an interview with him, and I just, used to speak to him and stuff a bit. And I was like a huge fan of the show, obviously, so I like really liked speaking to him. And he gave us great advice. And then I had his phone number and stuff, but then we kind of just, I stopped doing radio. I started doing stand-up. We kind of separated for a bit, didn't speak for a couple of years, and then I went to Hamish and Andy's crowd surfing show as a fan, because me and my mate had never been to one of their events before, and we were like, oh, we should just go because I'm a huge fan, and it's their last year on radio, let's just go to a thing. And it was just after You Don't Own Me number 3 had dropped, like the week after that. So shit, this was ages ago. So yeah, this was like May. I don't know when I dropped You Don't Know Me. Yeah, I think I dropped You Don't Know Me 3 in May. And then that had just gone really viral. And I was queuing up, waiting in line to get a photo with Hamish and Andy, which is now super weird because I work with them. But at the time I didn't. So I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, it's Hamish and Andy. And I went up, got a photo with them, and then went up just to say hi to Cackling Jack. I was like, just to say hi to him. And then he's like, he remembered me. He's like, oh, you used to do Sin. How's the show going? You still doing it? I was like, nah, I'm doing stand-up now. And he's like, wait, are you luke.kidgell? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, shit. We were all watching your video in the Uber on the way here. He's like, go up and like tell Hamish. He's like, dude, Hamish would love that shit. And I was like, no. He's like my idol. There's no way I'm going up to like my idol of like 8 years and being like, hi, do you know me from a video? Oh, I really like you. There's like no way am I doing that. So I was like, nah, man. And he's like kind of just forced me up there. He's like, I'll go with you. I was like, all right, fine. And then I went up with Jack, and Jack was like, hey, Hamish, this is the guy from the You Don't Own Me video. And Hamish was like, oh, what? No way. That video was hilarious, man. So good. And then me and Hamish, you might have seen on my Instagram story that night, we filmed a You Don't Own Me together. And then we kind of like, didn't think anything of it. I was like, cool. And then at a similar time, Lewis knew Hamish and Andy's producer, and he, like, not really knew, like, his cousin's friend or some shit, and I don't even know how they know each other. I don't think they really did. And he had his email from a couple of years ago saying, look, if you ever feel like, moving into mainstream media or whatever, here's my details, give us a call. That was years ago that he said that to Lewis, and, Lewis wasn't ready at the time, and, he didn't have anyone that, it never came about, pretty much. That thingo. So then, and then about a couple of weeks later, Jack messaged me on Facebook. This is Jack Post. Cackling Jack messaged me, and he was like, hey man, we should go out for brunch one day and have a chat. And I was like, all right, cool. So I went out with brunch with Jack, and he was really nice. And we didn't really speak anything about radio, but literally, I think the day before, or a couple of days before my brunch with Jack, which I bought pancakes on, by the way, which Lewis thinks is hilarious. What's wrong with that, right? I go out for brunch for a business meeting, and because I'm a child, I get pancakes. So no, actually, no, I didn't get pancakes. This is what happened. This has pissed me off this day. I go to this cafe in Elphington, And I'm like, all right, yeah. It was like, it's a bit of a hipster cafe. If you don't know, if you're from another state, Elphington's a bit of a, hipstery kind of suburb. And I was like, cool, they're definitely going to have some bullshit fancy pancakes. Get in there, look at the menu. No pancakes, because I'm like, sitting across the table with Jack, and he's been nice enough. Well, he's organized this meeting. I don't want to look like a dickhead and be like, oh man, can we go somewhere else? There's no pancakes. And I was like flipping the menu back and forth for like 10 minutes, and I was just waiting for pancakes to reappear in the menu. And he's like, you all right, man? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. There's just no pancakes. He's like, oh, do you want pancakes? So I was like, no, it's fine. And he's like, oh, we can go somewhere else. And I of course I wanted to go somewhere else, but I'm not going to say, yeah, all right, let's go somewhere else. And then I was like, oh, all right, cool. No, it's fine. I'll just get French toast. Because that's like the poor man's pancakes. Like French toast is budget pancakes. So I was like, all right, I'll get that. And Lewis somehow thinks that's hilarious because I've sulked about it for ages. I was like, there's no pancakes. Which I guess I'm a child, but fuck him. Anyway, so we went out on this brunch with Jack. He was really nice. And then he, started following my stuff. And in exactly the same time, Lewis and I decided to send in a 5-minute demo to Hamish and Andy's producer. We're like, there's nothing to lose here. Let's just send him something. So we sent him some of the stuff from like both of the podcasts that we'd done together. Like when Lewis has been on my podcast and I've been on his podcast. So we just sent him a mix and match. And we recorded one new like little segment just for the demo about Lewis is weird about mixing his fonts. And and we also included that phone call to that real estate agent in Newcastle where we called up a real estate agent because we'd seen him on a billboard and asked him to explain if he does or doesn't have a mustache to us, which is really stupid shit. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to put in the demo for you guys now. Like, do you guys, this will be interesting. So I'm going to go find it on my computer. Here is the first 5-minute, it goes for less than 5 minutes. It's like the first 3-minute demo that we sent Fox that ended up getting us an interview with the boss of the entire company. So I'm going to put this in. This might be interesting. Here it is now. We're walking down the street, this is where we started before, and there was a massive, there's enormous billboards. Pretty much half the billboard was this real estate agent's head called Mark. And I pointed at the billboard and I was like, look at that guy. He looks like he has a mustache, but he doesn't.
Wait. Across the road to get a closer look, and the whole time I was going, he's got a mustache. And Luke was like,
no, he doesn't. And we got there, and he doesn't.
But it looks like he does, even up close.
It's so hard to explain. So this dude had a real...
You have to see the photo.
A real rough scone. Like this. And then Mike just gets his phone out. We didn't think anything of it. He gets on the guy's website.
He starts lagging behind us. Looking, I thought he was texting someone. We're like, 5 meters in front of him. And then Mike catches up and he's on the phone to his receptionist.
So there was a phone number on the billboard. And he called the phone immediately and was like, and we just hear him go, hi, is Mark there? And she's like, why? And he goes, I want to speak to Mark because he wanted to tell him he had a shit head. You've caught up a guy to bag the shit out of him. He's not there. Then you're going, well, get him to give me a call back. Get it? Because really, the aim in this phone call, we were like, we just want to know if he is aware that he has a mustache but he doesn't.
Yeah.
We want to know if he knows.
Basically, my goal was on this conversation was to get him to explain his own face to me. Which, when you think about it, before we play it, I just want you guys to put yourselves in Mark's shoes. So he's come out of a meeting where, I don't know what they're talking about. They're probably going, look, Mark, you need to fix your head, alright? We're not selling any houses.
Mark, just what's going on with your upper lip?
Either grow a mustache or don't have one.
Pick a team, Mark.
Pick a side.
Yeah, hi, is that Mark with the mustache?
Not for the mustache. No, I don't have a mustache.
Oh, because we saw you're on the billboard.
Right.
It looks like you have a mustache.
Oh, right, mate. Maybe someone's giving me one. That costs extra.
Well, did you have it while you were taking the photo, or?
No.
Oh.
No, it's not the first time it's happened.
Oh, it's not the first time it's happened. Oh, okay.
Anyway, How can I help? Which property interests you?
Look, mate, I really wanted my house to be sold by someone with a mustache. I'm sorry.
So I was in Lewis's room yesterday. Well, we were in your room. And
I want to talk about this.
I wasn't just in your room perusing by myself. But and I noticed on the back of your door, like your bedroom door, you have an irregular amount of hats sitting there. And that's fine. I'm like, I don't care about the irregular amount of hats. But you had 2 or 3 plain black hats. And I asked him, why do you have these plain black hats? Because this is what Lewis said, because when he wears a t-shirt...
I don't want to talk about this. You're just going to make fun of me for an hour.
When he wears a top with a certain font on it,
okay, look.
He doesn't want to mix fonts with the top of his hat.
Because if I'm wearing a hat that has the writing on it, and I'm wearing a t-shirt that has writing on it, and the fonts are different, I don't like it. I don't get around it. I don't like the mixed fonts.
Yeah, so what he said, if he has, say, like an Arial black up top, he won't mix it with a Helvetica across the chest. Or
No way.
Or like a Comic Sans.
Absolutely not. It's Comic Sans all over or nothing.
I don't think it should ever be Comic Sans.
No, that's true. We should never have Comic Sans.
It should be Verdana or better.
Well, I'm telling you, if you mix fonts and someone walks past you on the street and they see that you're wearing 2 fonts, they go, "Oh, it's confusing." Why is that guy wearing
don't.
2 fonts? Who does he think he is?
Okay, do you think people are like whispering to their friends, "Hey, does that guy know he's wearing 2 fonts?"
No, it's true. You look at someone wearing 2 fonts, you're like, who does that guy think he is? If you were reading a book and you got halfway through the book...
You're not a book!
Yeah, but if you got halfway through the book and the font changed, you'd be like, who does this book think he is?
Not Lewis Spears. So that was the very first demo that we sent them months ago, and like, what? It's pretty funny, I guess. It's okay. I think all it conveyed was, I think that's what they really liked about it. It conveyed that and we didn't really realize this at the time, that we're genuinely great friends, like we're genuinely best mates, and I think for a lot of radio shows, like, you know, it doesn't work like that. Like, they put a comedian with a Big Brother contestant and they expect it to work, and I don't think that does work. Like, I don't want to go into work every day and work with some ex-Big Brother contestant or some shit, you know? I want to go into work every day, especially in a creative thing, and work with my best friend. Like, that's exactly why Hamish and Andy works, I think. Husey and Kate seem like they're pretty close, and stuff like that. Like, the shows that are great, I think they genuinely like each other, and I think that's really important. And at the time, we honestly thought nothing of it. We just thought, oh, fuck it, let's just send them this stupid demo, and we honestly didn't even think they'd get back to us, and they got back to us really quickly. The Hamish and Andy's producer sent that demo to the big boss of the company, and he scheduled up a meeting, and within 3 days of sending that demo, I think we had a meeting, and even at the time when they came to the meeting, they'd seen Lewis's stuff, you know, getting on A Current Affair, and I think they were just freaked out. They're like, well, what are we even interviewing these people for? Like, they're just dickheads who say fuck on the internet. Why are we even giving these people a chance? And you know what, to their credit, they gave us a go, and they were like, all right, well, we want to hear more of you. So then we started going in and doing demos for like 2 or 3 months with Jack Post. So on our brunch, this is why I brought up the brunch for, Jack offered saying, look, so we sent the demo, this is the timeline. We sent the demo off, then 2 days later I had the brunch, and I told him, I was like, oh, we actually sent a demo off. They got back to us, they said they really liked it, and we're going in for an interview. So this was at the brunch, and then Jack said, oh, awesome. Well, if you guys need any help recording a demo, I'd love to help you, because he's a great bloke. And thank you very much to Jack Post. I'll have to get Jack on the podcast one day, because he's really nice, and I think his story is quite interesting. He did a lot of community radio and then ended up working on the biggest show in the country, which I think is a pretty good success story. So I'll try and get Jack on the podcast one day, actually. Anyway, so yeah, Jack offered to help us record the demos. So we went in, we recorded the demos. The first one sucked. Like, it was the week after I came back from Fiji. It was like 2 days later, we went in, and I was nerding out so hard, because again, I'd been wanting to do radio for years. It's been my dream, and we recorded our first demo in Hamish and Andy's studio. And if you heard the podcast we dropped during the week, that was also in Hamish and Andy's studio, but I'd been in there a few times since, so I was like cool, calm and collected about it, so I wasn't like freaking out anymore. But the first time I went in there, we went in there right after their show. So their show finishes at 6, our demo was at 6:30. Went in, recorded our demo in their studio, and it was just the coolest shit. And to be honest, the first one sucked. Well, it didn't suck, it just wasn't our best work. And then I'm not sure if anything out of the first one made it to the best of. I don't think anything did. I think some stuff out of the second one made it. And yeah, so if you want to go hear the best of our demo tapes, they're up on iTunes. I just looked at the iTunes store. We hit top 10 on the iTunes store. That's crazy. So Luke and Lewis is currently top 10. So if you listen to this, go over now and subscribe to Luke and Lewis on iTunes. We're still 10. That's awesome. Yeah, so go over, listen to the demo tapes, and we start tomorrow on radio. So I am... this is Sunday. Sorry, I'm really tired. This is Sunday, and we start our show on Monday, which is today. You guys will be listening to this on Monday. So we start today at 12 p.m. So I'll put this up in the morning. If you guys are listening to this before 12, tune in, and it's going to be awesome. We're super excited about it. I think, was that the end of the story of how we got the show? Oh, no. This isn't even we're like halfway through the story. So we're doing demo tapes, and they said in our first interview, would you guys be open to doing something regional? Like, say, if we shipped you off to Dubbo, would you go? And we were like, yeah, of course. Like, you know, we'd take anything to get this opportunity. We just want to start from the bottom and work our way up. We just want to learn. That's what we said to them. And they were pretty impressed with that, I think. So then we kept on doing demos. And then a few weeks later, after about 3 or 4 demos, they got us in for another meeting. And that's when they told us that they wanted to give us a show. And that was the freaking best news ever, man. We were like... afterwards, we were we just like ran out. We were super happy. It was like probably one of the best moments of my life. But yeah, it was awesome, and we were so thankful that they are giving us this opportunity, and we really don't want to blow it. So we're going to take this really seriously. And all right, now the funny story. So that's how we got the show. Now the first time we went in for an interview, I should give this the pretext of. Do you guys remember that video I did? Shit never said while driving. It has about 1.2 million views now. Did quite well. And it's Lewis and I in a car. We're just saying shit never said. So it's like, whatever. Like, I forget what they were. One of the jokes was that we made, and again, never thought we'd ever get a radio show at the time. It was never even on the horizon. So we did a joke where, this was when Rove and Sam were on the radio. Now, a few of you might remember this joke. And because it's the opposite, Lewis said, oh man, turn it up. Rove and Sam's on the radio. And I was like, oh my God, they're so funny. Now, obvious sarcasm. I'm not saying it's a good joke. I'm just saying we did the joke, and it's in the video, and it's up on the internet forever. And I completely forgot about it. Absolutely, completely forgot about that joke. Moved on with my life. Sent in the radio demo, and they're with Hit. They're with Fox in Sydney. Oh, at the time, their show has since been... discontinued, but they were with Fox at the time when we were doing the interview, and one of the first things they said in the interview, he's like, now Luke, saw the Rove and Sam dig? And I was like, oh, and I completely forgot about it. I was like, yep, that happened. And I was gonna say sorry. I was like, yep, that happened. And he was like, yeah, a few people around the office have also seen it. And I'm like, and he's like, just wanted to let you know that we've seen it. And I'm like, yep, sick. Not great for me, but not going to apologize. So I just... I was like, what's the point of apologizing? The damage has been done. He probably doesn't care anyway. And he had a laugh. He just kind of just laughed about it. I was like, cool. Just want to let you know we've seen it. And then on the way out, we were walking in the elevator, and we were like, oh, fuck. I forgot about that Rove and Sam joke. We probably shouldn't have done that. You know, we can't do that shit. And then we're like, oh, that's right. They didn't seem to care. And then we get in the elevator, and like just as the doors were about to close, someone comes in, and it was like a thing in the movies where they put their hand in and they bump it open, and it was this guy, and he was like, oh, sorry, boys. And he's like, I was just in a rush. And then on the way down, he's like, oh, are you guys Luke and Lewis? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, oh, hi, I'm the content director at Fox. And we're like, oh, how you going, man? Nice to meet you. And he's like, yeah, you guys will get to know me. And we're like, oh, okay. And he goes, oh, saw the Rove and Sam joke. Very well done. And he was sarcastic as, and he just went, anyway, have a good one, boys, and then left. On our very first day in the building, the whole office had seen us trashing one of their shows on the internet, which I thought was quite funny. But yeah, and also we keep getting caught, as I was saying last week, we keep getting caught doing dumb shit around the office. That's when when I was telling those stories about us getting caught taking an unironic selfie, and I also got caught talking about Hamish, and then Hamish Blake walked past and he heard me say his name, and it was fucking embarrassing, man. Because we're at the point where, like, he knows who I am by name, but he just knows me as, like, the guy who came to their show as a fan. And and now I have to be, like, a peer. Because, like, yeah, if you don't know, Fox and Triple M are run by the same company. So Fox is level 2 in the building and Triple M is level 1. So we're doing our show out of the Triple M studios, but just upstairs is Fox. So we've been doing demos in both upstairs and downstairs. Anyway, that's what it is. Anyway, that's enough radio chat, but I'm just really excited about it, so I'll stop talking about it now. But yeah, anyway. Also, I want to say a massive, massive thank you to every single person who came to Lewis and I's show last night. We did a show called Luke and Lewis for No Reason, which we just put up on Snapchat and Instagram, and luckily it sold out because you guys are legends, just off posting it on Snapchat and stuff, so that was really cool. It was just really intimate. It was 50 seats. It was super low-key. Like we had to find extra seats for people because there were so many people in the room. But yeah, it was really fun, and I just want to say thank you to every single person who came out to that. Because what we were doing was we were working on brand new stand-up material. And if you don't know, that's usually a brutal process of going out to open mics, trying shit that you thought of, and then usually half of it going okay, and then half of it just completely bombing, and it's like, all right, I got to improve that and that and that. So then by next year's show at the Comedy Festival and on my tour, the show is bang on. Because like that first show, if you saw it, that took me 2 years to write, and this year I only have like 7 or 8 months, so I've got to work extra hard because and I want it to be better than last year, and I truly think it's on its way to being better than last year. Because, the new bits that I tried last night just went better than the old shit, probably. So, yeah, that was really cool. So, I just wanted to say a quick thank you, every single person, because, you guys were all so pumped to be there. It made me not scared to do the new shit. Because even if something went bad and, like, it didn't get a laugh, it made it funnier because everyone just acknowledged, that was a shit joke, Luke, and we all had a big laugh. And it was one of the funnest shows I've ever done. And, like, thinking about it, it was really fun. I had a great time. So, thank you, everyone. It was awesome to meet you all and a few people afterwards who listened to this podcast and shit. That was really cool. So, if you came and you're listening, thank you. All right, moving on. Let's do a fun fact because there's been so much unfun so far. Sorry, I'm really tired. I was exhausted. I almost fell asleep on the train last night on the way home. Oh, get this. It was so awkward. I was catching the train in to my own show because I'm poor AF. And I got on the train. I rocked up to my local station. And these 6 people just came up to me and were like, hey, man. And they're like, Luke. And I was like, hey, what's up? And they're like, oh, we're coming to your show. And I was like, oh, thank you, cool. And it was really awkward because I'm like, they were probably just like, oh, he catches the train? What a pleb. Why am I going to see him perform? That shit happens all the time, I swear. I very rarely get recognized, but when I do, it's always in a shit place. I've got recognized at Kmart before. I feel like I'm always doing something like really cheap at the time. Or I've got recognized in Macca's. I remember, I think I hit the lowest point was someone, I was in the Macca's in Geelong, and someone's like, hey man, I'm a really big fan. And I was like, wow, I wish you had have seen me anywhere else. I feel like I'm hitting my lowest point hitting up the Geelong Macca's right now. And it's just not good that people see me at my lowest. But you know what? The reality is that I'm regularly hitting rock bottom. So the chances are I will get spotted at rock bottom, which happens. So anyway, let's do a fun fact. Let's pump up the mood because, I don't know, there's been too much serious chat about my dreams and aspirations, and now let's just have some fun with some facts, alright? Okay, let's do it. This one's just an honorary mention, only because it's not a traditional fun fact. It's a fun fact that only applies to this podcast. So, I forget who sent it in, but thank you very much. The fun fact is, the honorary mention is... Apple plans to open about 25 new Apple stores in 2018. Why? You really have made enough money? You're like, oh, we only make $1 billion a day. Now let's make 25 billion. What? Do you know how much money that store makes? I was trying to work it out one day. I was in there and I was like, all right, there's 100 people in the store. Everyone's probably, spending at least $1,000. Therefore, that's $100,000 $100,000. And I was like, all right, this is like if half an hour window. Then you times like half an hour window by like thing. I reckon that each store would probably make $1 million a day. Probably over $1 million. Like take in $1 million a day, which is crazy. Like you go past a little, family run juice store. They probably make like $10 a day. And you're like, oh, well done. We sold a juice today. Why do you need to open 25 more stores? So people can sit there and awkwardly wait while the employee tries to get their FPOS machine to work. And he's like, anyway, what do you do for a living? And then you freak out and you're like, oh, I do archery. Now that's going to happen 25 times more than it already does. Oh, actually not 25 times more. Just probably like 1% more because there's probably heaps of Apple stores. Anyway, it's going to happen more, which bothers me. And anyway, they don't need 25 more stores. So whoever sent... This was supposed to be fun. Now I'm just angry again. Whoever sent that in, good fun fact because it's horrible. But also, it actually kind of ruined my day a bit. Anyway, so this is the actual fun fact that was sent in by Daniel. Not the best fun fact I've ever had, but pretty relevant and pretty interesting. So let's give it a bash. From Daniel. Hey Luke, did you know that North Korea's longest range missile would only reach the Northern Territory and wouldn't be able to hit Eastern Australia? Look, I'm probably not going to sound the fun fact horn on that one, only because they haven't yet nuked Northern Territory. But when they do, you'll hear a bloody good horn. You'll get radiation poisoning probably, but you'll still hear a horn. But yeah, I did actually know that, Daniel. I read about this the other day. So yeah, North Korea's missile, like the radius of like how far it can shoot, yeah, it only shoot. It making it like it's a little pistol, like poo poo, just a nuclear bomb. Anyway. Yeah, it can only reach the top of Australia. That's the maximum it can go. So yeah, if you live in Northern Territory, unlucky, very unlucky. But if you live anywhere else in Australia, you're just absolutely sweet. I mean, people in Broome perhaps should be like a little bit worried, like you're kind of close to it. Same with like Northern Queensland. Like if you're in Cairns, maybe just start like looking up at the sky. No nuclear bomb, great, I'll go back to whatever else I was doing. Maybe like take precautions. But yeah, if you're in Victoria or Sydney or something like that, just don't even worry about it. That's not your problem. That's, and just don't holiday to the Northern Territory in the next 6 months, until this all mulls over, or until World War III starts and someone bombs North Korea and they ruin the world. So, yeah, just wait till then. Otherwise, just occasional head check. It's like when you learn how to drive. You got to do a head check before you merge lanes. It's a simple head check up to the sky. No bombs, great. Go back to what you're doing. So I would highly recommend that. And yeah, thank you very much, Daniel, for that mildly fun fact, just not horn-worthy this week. But that's all right. We don't want to blow a horn every week because then there'll be nothing special about the fun fact horn. It'll just be like, oh, dude, he blows the horn on any fact. They're not even fun anymore. And I want to maintain, a strong presence in the fun fact community. And I don't want to be known as like a pushover. Okay, I don't want to be known as, oh, he just says anything's a fun fact. Not everything's a fun fact. Okay, I probably mildly enjoyed that fact. And I didn't have fun reading it. I was like, interesting. Pepped up my mood a bit. Didn't have fun. Anyway, so let's do one question, and I have to go to work. Get this. This is my last shift at the golf club in a month for the foreseeable future. It may be definitely my last shift ever. So I'm pretty pumped about it. I'm going to go there, going to have a bloody party. No, I'm not really. I'm just going to go pick up golf balls, and it's going to suck, but I'm really excited to not go there anymore because radio is now my job. So that is the coolest shit ever. Now, let's do a question. This one is from Luke. So this is just a Luke talking to another Luke. It's just two Lukes having a Luke about a Luke. So just lots of Lukes in this scenario. So Luke said, are you of the belief that we, the folks born in the last 20 years, are the piss-taking generation, the one which holds nothing sacred? Absolutely. Have you been on the internet? Dude, I think it's just Australia as well. I don't even think it's like other countries. I think Australian culture and I think shit meme culture and just that level of piss-taking and I can't remember the last time I took something seriously. Like, the fact that, even though I take, the radio and shit seriously, you heard that demo, talking about fonts and calling a guy to explain his face. That's all taking the piss. The only thing I take seriously is taking the piss, which goes to show that yes, we're 100% of the generation that just takes the piss, and that's why old people hate our generation, man. That is why old people fucking hate it. But why? Because you know what? This is why we're all smartasses, because we just don't care. Like, someone will be like, hey, Luke, can you... Like, I haven't even done my taxes yet. It's due October 30. I've had since June, and it's a serious thing. And I'm like, I just don't care. Like, even if I cop a fine, it'll end up just being funny. I'll be like, oh, I copped a fine. That sucks. I'm a child. I don't care. I get pancakes when I go out for business meetings. I don't care. Like, just... Yeah, we take the piss. Like, if you go on the internet in Australia, we're the only culture that, like, where, like, I don't know, that Shannon Knoll could become a revived, like, celebrity. Like, that would never happen anywhere else. Like, we're the only culture that would make, like, Grant Denyer a meme. You know what I mean? Like, just all that shit. Just, like, you see shit, like, you're like, how did that even become a thing? You know, like, we meme our own culture, like, so hard. Like, every show on free-to-air TV, pretty much I've seen become some sort of in-joke on the internet, which goes to show that, yeah, we literally take nothing seriously. So, yeah, you're 100% right, Luke. I do believe that, to answer your question, that we are the piss-taking generation, and I am a proud ambassador, and I would like to think I'm one of the leaders in the field. I'm hoping to be, and you know, other people are trying to become the best comedian in the world, the most successful. I'm really just taking the lead and trying to become one of the, you know, leading voices in the field of taking absolutely nothing seriously. And I think I can become that. I think with a lot of hard effort and a lot of, you know, piss taking, that yeah, we will. I think I'll definitely get there, and I think, you know, people will look back on and go, "Wow, that guy didn't care about anything," and I'll be proud. If I die and people go, "That guy didn't give a fuck," I'll be a very happy man. So anyway, that's the end of the podcast, guys. Sorry, today has been a bit tired and a bit loose. See, this thing, last podcast was like I was like energetic, tired. This podcast today, I was just like super. I'm still like in shock that I have a radio show starting tomorrow, so I probably blabbed on about that for too much. And yeah, I'm just super tired, and I'm trying to just rest today, just so the show doesn't suck this week. So yeah, anyway, if you listen to this before Monday, even if you listen to this during the week, we're on Monday to Friday on Triple M Modern Digital, and I cannot stress this enough. It's not Triple M 105.1. It's the digital station affiliated with Triple M, called Triple M Modern Digital, and the ways to listen to it are you can download the Triple M app and switch station to Modern Digital. You can download the radio app and look up Triple M Modern Digital. You can listen on a digital radio. And yeah, but I would suggest listening to it online, if just on your phone and shit. The radio app is great. Just go on the App Store, download the radio app, and you can get every single radio station in the world. It's awesome. You just search Triple M Modern Digital and then hit play, and it loads in like a second. And you can be listening to us and doing something else in the background. So yeah. It would mean a lot if, before you went and did something else right now, if you opened up your podcast app and went and subscribed to Luke and Lewis on iTunes and leave a review. Go listen to the demo tapes. We're really proud of them. Because usually, you know, when people do demo tapes for radio shows and they literally just go unheard. No, they get thrown in the bin. No one ever listens to them. And we thought that's such a waste, because we thought there was some pretty funny shit we did in those demo tapes. So if you want to go listen to them, there's two best ofs. They both go for 25 minutes each. And yeah, we're really proud of that stuff. So we wanted you guys to hear it. And I think it's interesting. You guys will literally hear us right from the start of this show. So if you're listening to this now, you're literally day one. You're a day one fan. So that's really cool. And also, I just can't stress this enough. Nothing will change with this podcast. Memoirs of a White Guy will still be every Monday. I'll be shit talking, because you know what? There's a whole lot of shit that I can't say on radio, like the word shit. So I really want to keep doing this podcast for you guys. And I love doing it. And so yeah, and also same with videos. Still going to be pumping out videos. And yeah, that's it. Go follow Luke and Lewis on all the social medias and listen to the radio show this week. That would be awesome. We're on 12 till 2 p.m. during the day on Triple M Modern Digital. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good one. So, it's not the end of the podcast. I hope people didn't just stop listening then. It's now like 4 or 5 hours later. I just came home from work and I realized that there's a few things I forgot to mention. So I wanted to quickly mention, firstly, came home from work and now the Luke and Lewis podcast is the #1 comedy podcast in the country right now, which is insane. So thank you very much, guys. That is the coolest shit ever. I never thought I would see anything that I'm involved with get to #1 on anything. So that's so cool. Thank you very much. I've got a list of all the things I wrote down at work. Okay, so I feel like I didn't fully nut out. I told you all about how we got the radio show and my side of that story. If you want Lewis's side of how we got the radio show, he talked about on his podcast this week, but I realized I didn't actually nut out what our plan was for this radio show. So I'll just quickly tell you. So we have like pretty much the first month planned. We've got like stunts and all this cool shit. We think it's going to be like great. Like, you know, we think it's really going to be a great show. We're pretty much treating this like we're on National Drive Radio, even though we're on Triple M Modern Digital. But yeah, we're pretty much treating this really seriously. So we've got heaps of cool shit planned for you all. And also, the one thing I think people, you know, I was worried about it going into this, and so was Lewis, and maybe some of you guys would have thought about it. I was worried about them restricting us and seeing our online stuff and being like, oh, you know, you need to turn it down a bit, guys, blah, blah, blah. And I was also worried about them not giving us complete creative control on the show, because I didn't know how all that commercial radio stuff worked. I never knew if it was if there was producers behind the scene. Anyway, what I want to tell you is, sorry, I'm really tired again. I'm even more tired than before. We have 100% complete creative control over this show. They've literally gone, do whatever you want, do what you think's funny, which I am super pumped about, and I'm sure you guys are relieved to hear that as well. And that's also why we've been so excited about it, because we can make the radio show that we want to make, which is super exciting. So I just wanted to make that clear. What was else? Oh yeah, here's another thing. This has nothing to do with the radio. So ask about ads. Okay, so I just wanted to put this out to you guys. Recently, I got contacted by a guy who runs an advertising agency. And what he does essentially is he comes to podcasters or people who have a podcast, and he gets ads on people's podcasts. He approaches them and says, hey, I got this ad deal. Do you want to do it for this amount of money? Blah, blah, blah. And and then I would get a bit of money. So, but before signing off or anything, I wanted to run it by you guys, wanted to put a feeler out. So what it would be is, there'd be no like ad. It wouldn't be like just an ad playing. What it would be is me talking about a product in a funny way. And I've made this so clear to the dude, like to the point where I was like, I had to have a phone conversation with him where I was like, I refused to firstly play any ads, because that sucks. That's out of the question. And secondly, I refuse to, if I have to read a script of some product, like, ladies and gentlemen, you should buy, I don't know, what's a product? A coaster for $25.99 from coasters.com.au. They have the best coasters in the game. So put a drink down and get a coaster. Like, there's no way I'm doing that shit, right? So I was like, no way. If this is gonna work, it has to be funny. And honestly, some podcasts I listen to, like Bill Burr's, I love it when he reads the ads. I think it's hilarious. He reads the ads in such a funny way, and I honestly think I could bring something like that to the podcast. But before I signed up on something like that, I wanted to put it out there to you guys. Let me know if you have a massive issue with that, because the reality is this podcast has been costing me money for over a year now. I don't make anything from this podcast. It's just money going into the hole, and hopefully it comes out in ticket sales at the end of the year. That's pretty much why I do it. And also I just do it because I like doing it. But yeah, I've been funding this out of my own golf club money for the last year. Just every month it costs me money. I don't think many people realize that podcasts are not cheap to run, especially when they got a lot of downloads. So I've been kind of funding this myself, and I just thought, like, literally, even like the amount of plays mine gets, I'm not getting a hectic amount of money anyway. It would probably just make me break even with paying for the podcast, which would be awesome. So I just wanted, to ask you guys and put it out there. If anyone has a problem with ads running the podcast, let me know. And also, this may not happen actually, because the guy hasn't come to with any ad deals yet. He's just approached me, asked asking me if I'm interested. And I was like, yeah, man, definitely interested. But I just wanted to put it out on the podcast first. So if you have a massive issue with that, let me know. Otherwise, yeah. And also, they won't be like podcasts. So there won't be ads at the start of the podcast. It won't be like, this podcast is brought to you by fucking Coasters or whatever. It'll be like, it in the middle of the podcast, and I'll be like, now's the time for the ad, and then it'll just be like another segment in the podcast, and I reckon it'll be pretty funny. So let me know what you feel about that. And the final thing I forgot to address was the Palmer vote. I don't know how I forgot. So we had the vote this week in the podcast Facebook group, which you can go join. It's Memoirs of a White Guy group, I think. I forget what it's called. But it's just on my Facebook page. If you go to groups, you'll find it there. Lots of good banter in there. And we had the Palmer vote, what it should be, Palmy or Palmer. And holy shit, Palmer's blew it out of the park. I was right. I told you, people were wrong. Everyone had my side. I'll read out some of the votes. It was an open poll, so there were other suggestions that were added. But Palmer was clear winner. So is it a chicken palmy or chicken Palmer? We had 86 votes for Palmer, only 40 for Palmy. So those are clearly South Australian and New South Wales plebs. The third option was I want to fuck Lewis Spears, with a strong 22 votes coming in second. And the fourth one was you should refer to Parmigianas as a chicken Parmigiana, please, good sir. So, and that was it. And then there was heaps of other shit memes under there, like a fat bird, please, suck my ass, and coat hanger abortions, all polling far too high. So, yeah, very good vote. Well done, guys. And Palmer took it out as expected. So if anyone calls it a palmy, just want to finish off the podcast and say, you're wrong. And 86 people agree with me. Thank you very much. Game, set, match, checkmate. I don't know, other words for winning. And yeah, that is all. So yeah, this I'm super excited about tomorrow. Literally starting my dream job. Could not be happier to be doing it with my best mate Lewis. And I think, I just think this is going to be something really big. The fact that now it's hit number 1 on iTunes, it's just gives me goosebumps, man. It's really cool. So yeah, and this show pretty much lives or dies on you guys. I mean, I don't want to put pressure on you all, but I truly think that if we can show people strong numbers and more just like positive feedback, like if you guys are like commenting and interacting and just getting involved with the show, we can bring it to our bosses and be like, look how much people like this, put us on Not Modern Digital. You know what I mean? Like that. I think in this first month, it's really going to be a huge thing of hopefully you guys love the show. We think you will. We're very proud of what we've got planned for you all. And I can't wait. I think you guys are going to love it. So if you could all get behind it, like the Facebook page, Instagram, and also listen live. If I understand if you're at school or at work and shit and you can't, it'd be awesome if you caught up on the podcast as well, because those numbers are very important as well. But if you guys could listen live and interact, and we're going to do like phoners. So like that's when you go, hey guys, give us a call if you've ever heard a close family member fart. And then you guys quickly call the number and you're like, yeah, I heard my auntie rip one at Christmas dinner last year. It smelled like pudding. And then we all go, oh, it's so funny and relatable. That was a joke, by the way. Our show, I feel like, is a lot better than that. That was a very bad example. But yeah, you guys get what I mean. It'd be awesome if you guys get involved like that. And yeah, I'll see you next week on the podcast, but hopefully you'll hear me on the radio this week. Have a good one, guys.